the safe area.
Good morning, agents, and welcome to another daily episode of Target Loot today for November 3rd. The series that shows you the Target Loot map, farming tips and tricks, vendor reset highlights, and much more. I'm Agent Shadow, and if you enjoy my content, please consider pressing those subscribe and like buttons below. In the pinned comment below, there are links to join my Discord and my clan Shadow Crew on all platforms. Support my channel in all sorts of ways, but we'll cover that and more at the end of the video. Let's go ahead and get started with the Dark Zones first, and the highlights from the vendors this week, which just reset this morning, then DC, and finally New York City Target Loot highlights last. Alright agents, this is your daily reminder to complete your weekly SHD requisition for your first exotic cache and your first named item. Second, you can do the summit, complete summit on any difficulty for your second exotic cache and your second named item. And then lastly, your weekly legendary mission for your third exotic cache, and that's District Union Arena. That's the legendary you need to complete this week, and you can do that on all 4 characters. Alright, let's go check out what we got in the Dark Zones and the highlights for the vendors this week. Alright agents, now we're over here at the highlights for the Dark Zones, and I wanted to get started with just some highlights from the vendors in DC first, and then of course the Dark Zones. So over at the White House, there is a chain killer chest piece that you can pick up. And then over at the theater, there is a pair of contractor's gloves with 8% damage to armor that you can pick up. That's definitely worth picking up for sure if the rolls are good on it. I haven't checked it. If you check the video description below, there's a website that shows the weekly vendor resets every week. Amazing website. I highly recommend checking it out. And then, yeah, that's pretty much it for the DC area. The chain killer chest piece with perfect headhunter at the White House. And then, of course, the contractor's gloves at the theater. Now over here in DZ West, we got skill attachments, and there's nothing worth picking up at the DZ vendor. It's the Calibre with perfect jazz hands if you're interested in picking that up. Otherwise, over here in DZ South, we got aces and eights, which is kind of worth farming for. I mean, you can run 3 pieces aces and eights, 2 pieces of Ralta Holding, and 1 piece of that chain killer chest piece with perfect headhunter for a great headshot damage build, although I usually run all high end with the punch drunk mask. Otherwise, in the DZ South, the rail splitter with perfect accurate is on sale for 152 DZ resources, and I highly recommend picking that bad boy up. Now lastly, the highlights for today is DZ East. We got Providence Defense. Shout out to my subscriber Michael. Dude, I did not think it would come this early, but Providence Defense is in the Dark Zone today. That means you can farm for the gift with perfect vigilance. Highly recommend farming for it and keeping it if you can get a good enough roll. Now that's where the main problem is. You want to get one with weapon damage, crit hit chance, and crit hit damage, and it comes with perfect vigilance. So you just want to make sure you get the rolls right. The talent's always going to stay the same. Otherwise, at the DZ East, you can grab the Carnage with perfect Sadist for 152 DZ resources. But yeah, that's it for the highlights for the Dark Zones. Let's go check out what we got on the north side and the invaded missions this week. Alright agents, now we're over here on the north side Target Loot highlight, and I did want to start off with the invaded missions that we got this week. So we got Federal Emergency Bunker, Lincoln Memorial, Potomac Event Center, and Roosevelt Island at the last stronghold. Alright, back up to the north side Target Loot highlights. I'm going to start off at Coney Island Ballpark with knee pads. Now, of course, there's 2 exotic knee pads you can get, the Ninja Bike Messenger knee pads, and of course the Sawyer's knee pads. Both of those are definitely worth farming for. And then, of course, the named Fox's Prayer knee pads with 8% damage to targets out of cover is also highly worth farming for. But if you can farm Overlord over here in Judiciary Square, then of course I would recommend that way over farming knee pads if you're looking for just the Fox's Prayer knee pads. Circle of Concern at the amusement park. Everyone knows if you're running an SMG, always run at least 1 piece of this for that 10% SMG damage. And then Gear System mods over here at Manning National Zoo. Just run this on heroic and try to go for a god rolled mod like a 12% crit hit damage mod or a 6% crit hit chance mod, or 10% bleed resistance, whatever's god rolled that you can use in your build. And lastly, Kenley College is closed. I don't think anyone was going there anyway. And then Summit, you pick your own targeted loot. So let's go check out what we got on the west side now. Alright agents, now we're over here on the west side targeted loot highlights. I'm going to get started with the gear sets first. So I see True Patriot at DCD HQ. I got a build I'll put in the top right card that is an absolute wonderful build. I mean, 4 pieces True Patriot, a Memento, and then Sokolov with Intimidate on the chest piece. It's absolutely a shredder, and you can tank so much damage. I highly recommend it. It also goes good with LMGs like the Pestilence, so there's many build variations you can use, even the Chameleon with a Fenris chest piece and the Memento. Now, Tip of the Spear at Tidal Basin, I can't recommend because I've never really used it besides this one niche build for a raid. Comment in the comment section below if you use it, and maybe share your build and why you like it. We got Negotiator's Dilemma at DARPA Research Labs. I'll put another build in the top right card right now, a double LMG build utilizing 4 pieces of Negotiator's Dilemma. You can run this set with ARs, LMGs, and SMGs. It's pretty, large variation of different types of ways you can run it, so I recommend farming for it. And then lastly, we got Foundry Bulwark at Potomac Event Center. 3 or 4 pieces for all that armor regen. It's an armor regen tank build. But remember, the Iron Horse raid, that's where you get the chest and backpack piece. It's locked behind there for right now. And I'm assuming in Title Update 12, maybe they'll finally release it to the general loot pool, like they did with the Negotiator's Dilemma chest and backpack. Alright, let's get started with the regular stuff. So, we got gloves at West Potomac Park. That's the exotic BTSU gloves. And of course, what I recommend farming for the contractor's gloves with 8% damage to armor is Petrov, and I believe I saw that over on the east side today. Now we got Douglas and Harding at Roosevelt Island. Now, if you're going to farm for mass and, you want to get a punch drunk mask with 20% damage to headshot damage, then farm Douglas and Harding. It'll be much faster to get that punch drunk mask, so farm Roosevelt Island today. We got submachine guns at Foggy Bottom. Now, you can get the exotic Lady Death and the exotic Chatterbox, but you had to have finished the Chatterbox quest first. So if you need to finish that, I'll put a guide in the top right that shows you how to do that real fast. Otherwise, the Dark Winter and the Apartment were something you could get yesterday. It was SMG, Target Loot, and DZ West because they're Dark Zone exclusives. And shout out to anyone that got it. Congratulations. Otherwise, in the Light Zone, you can get the Safety Distance with Perfect Outsider and the Swap Chain. And then, of course, any SMG that you get, you want to get a Vector variant or an MPX variation. I see shotguns at Bank HQ, so you can get the Sweet Dreams exotic shotgun. Has the Sandman talent on it. It's pretty great for a lot of skill builds. Otherwise, you can get the 3 best shotguns in the game, the Mop with 10% armor on kill, the custom M870, and then, of course, the Marine Super 90. And yeah, that looks to be about it in the, west side area. I see rifles at White House. Almost missed it. So that's the exotic Diamondback and the exotic Merciless. Those are the exotic rifles you can get. Otherwise, I would go for a classic M1A and roll one of the best rifle damage talents on it, Boomerang, Rifleman, or Ranger. Alright, let's go check out the east side before New York City. Alright, agents, now we're over here on the east side, Target Loot highlights. I'm going to get started with the gear sets like usual. We got Future Initiative at Downtown East. It's a great healer set, but like Foundry Bulwark, Future Initiative chest and backpack are Iron Horse raid exclusives. Now, Strikers, I don't recommend, and Eclipse Protocol at Viewpoint Museum, I highly recommend. Mix it with Imperial Dynasty holster or the Vile Mask, and 1 piece of Golan gear for absolute mayhem. Hardwired at East Mall, you got 4 control points here to farm that are all manhunt missions. And of course, you mix that with 2 pieces of Hana U and 1 piece Wyvernware, you got an insane Assault Turret Striker Drone build that you can use to just shred through legendary missions. Yeah, that looks to be all the gear sets, so let's get started with the normal loot. We got light machine guns at Jefferson Plaza, so that's the exotic Bullet King and Pestilence. Otherwise, you can get a named LMG like the Carnage, the Sleipnir, the Good Times with Perfect Fast Hands, New Reliable. There's all sorts of named LMGs in this game. We got Badger Tough at Air and Space. That's a 0F's chest piece with Perfect Unbreakable. Every time you lose your armor, or every 55 seconds, it refills your armor to 100% when you lose your armor. And then, of course, holsters at Space Admin. This is where you can get 2 exotic holsters, which is the Dodge City holster and the Imperial Dynasty holster. Otherwise, you can get the named Forge holster, which gives you 50% extra shield health, a whole extra skill tier to your shield. You got chest pieces at Capitol Building Stronghold, so this is where you can get 2 exotic chest pieces, the Tardigrade exotic and the Ridgeway's Pride. But you had to have completed the project or be in a group with someone who's completed it and is willing to share it with you. Up next, we got Alp Summit at Federal Triangle. While you can get the percussive maintenance with perfect tech support, I think that it's on the wrong brand, that they need to rework that backpack. I would just get a chest piece with empathetic resolve and put that together with your future initiative 4 piece if you don't have the chest or backpack from the Iron Horse raid. And then lastly, we got Petrov at District Union Arena. This is where I would farm for the Contractor's Gloves with 8% damage to armor. And then Bellstone Armory at Grand Washington Hotel. You can get the Everyday Carrier with Perfectly Efficient on it. And remember, the Liquid Engineer with Perfect Bloodsucker is a Dark Zone exclusive. But please comment below and let me know if it's dropped in the Target Loot rewards for you. Alright, let's go check out what we got on the New York City Target Loot highlights, and I will let you agents go. Alright, agents, we're over here lastly at New York City Target Loot highlights, last part of the video before the outro. So we got Hanayu at Wall Street. This is where you can pick up the Force Multiplier backpack with perfect combined arms. Absolutely amazing backpack. Extra 30% skill damage every 3 seconds that you're firing and landing your shots. And then we got masks over here at Liberty Island. So the 2 exotic masks that I recommend farming for are the Coyotes mask and the Vial mask. The Punch Drunk mask just farm at D&H over at Roosevelt Island today. We got Walker Harrison Co. at Pathway Park. This is where you can get the Chain Killer chest piece with Perfect Headhunter. Always worth farming for a great headshot build. We got Assault Rifles at Civic Center. This is where you can get the exotic Chameleon. Or you can get the named Maniac, Military AKM, the named FAMAS, which is called the Burnout. Or one of the best assault rifles in this game are the FAMAS, the Military AKM, the Police M4, Carbine 7, and G36 variants. Otherwise, that's pretty much all I recommend. Hunter's Fury I always recommend, and I'll put a build video in the top right card now that utilizes Hunter's Fury and makes it worth running. And then Golan gear, you usually just want 1 piece with your Eclipse Protocol build. Alright, that's it for New York City Target Loot highlights. Alright agents, well that was the Target Loot for today. Thank you so much for watching, and be sure to subscribe, like, and share if you enjoyed my content. If you would like to become a member for support and exclusive perks, click the join button below to further support my dream of being a full-time content creator. You can also grab some Shadow Gaming merchandise by clicking the link in the pinned comment and video description below. I got a ton of items, apparel items, accessories, all sorts of stuff, and I lowered the prices across the board for you guys. And I'm running a promo for free shipping for the next 2 weeks, and that promo code will be in the pinned comment below. You can also support me on alt tech if you would prefer, like Patreon and Subscribestar. But if you're still watching this video right now to the end, thank you. That's truly the best way to support me and whitelist me on your ad blocker. Take care, agents, and be sure to stay tuned for more daily Division 2 content. This is Agent Shadow signing off. I will see you in the next video. Take care, agents.
Take care, agents, and thanks for watching.
Take care, Raisins.